Nandip Academy, India's top coaching institution for civil services preparation. Join us online to get most enriching experience from best faculty with excellent notes and specially designed courses. To join the batch, download Nandip IS Academy app from Google Play Store. For more information, contact 9511 280 465.
Hello everybody, welcome you all. My name is Satyajeet. On the behalf of this academy, I welcome you all in this series that we are conducting, which will cover the foundational aspects of sociology optional for mains examination. It is one of the sessions, one of the 8-10 sessions that we are launching on YouTube that will be open for all, which will cover basics of sociology as an optional. Starting with what is sociology, why we can choose sociology as an optional, why it can be a wise decision, or what are the basic terminologies, basic concepts in sociology optional, to how to write answers, how to cover current affairs, how to apply the current affairs and the news in the daily newspapers like Hindu in the answer writing. All these aspects we are going to cover in this series that is open for all. And one of that series we are going to, you can say one of that series, one important session that we are going to conduct today is regarding the syllabus. As you might have heard, the battles are won not with the weapons, actually they are won with the strategies and the minute detailings. And today we are here to, you can say, polish that details. We are here to discuss that detailing and the strategy. And exactly the word why you can notice the abhutpurva here. It is about the detailing and the innovation. It is about the innovation in the strategies, right? And that the strategies, those fetch me marks. Among the one of the toppers in India. Even you can say, or you might have, you might be knowing, in the very first mains, I scored just 73 marks in optional subject, despite you can say studying the sociology optional in one of the premier institutes in India. But it made me rethink about my strategies. I changed the strategies on my own. I innovated certain things, right? I adopted to certain new techniques, few invented on my own self, and those ideas and those ideas on innovations we are again launching as a separate innovative program that is called as Abhutpurva regarding sociology optional. That is set of actually 4 to 5 ideas. One of that idea is regarding the syllabus, right? How to integrate the syllabus, how to integrate the syllabus of paper 1 and paper 2 in sociology optional, how to exchange the ideas between the papers, how to apply the examples in the paper 2 to paper 1, and how to, you can say, apply the concepts of paper 1 in paper 2 of sociology optional. That is going to fetch you a lot of marks. That has helped me to double my marks in sociology and become one of the toppers at India level. And that is the Abhutpurva part of this session, right? So I welcome you all again. Before going to Abhutpurva part, that is the innovative part in syllabus or the integrating the syllabus, we must first of all discuss the syllabus of paper 1 and paper 2 individually. And even before that, we must discuss about what sociology officially talks about the syllabus, in what words sociology explains the syllabus of sociology optional. If you can refer to the official PDF of the syllabus given by UPSC, you might come across one important line just like this. The scope of the syllabus of optional subject papers, that is paper 6 and paper 7. Actually, paper 6 and paper 7 are the official names of the sociology papers in mains examination. So what do we mean by paper 6? It is paper 1 of sociology optional, and paper 7 is the paper 2 of sociology optional in mains examination. It is the coding, official coding of UPSC, right? Is broadly of the honors degree level. So what is the difficulty level, or what is the level of, or the scope of the sociology or the any other optional, in UPSC, it is about the honors degree level. The scope is regarding the honors degree level. That is somewhere between the master's and the bachelor's degree. Right? हा UPSCचा स्कोप हा त्यांनी ऑफिशियली डिक्लेअर केलेला आहे. And as you know, the syllabus of the UPSC or any other optional, we are talking about sociology. The sociology is divided into two papers, that is paper 1 and paper 2, fetching 250 marks each. The paper 1, you can say, is regarding the broader aspects of sociology as a discipline at the global level, while the paper 2 is regarding its application at India or the Indian society. And that's how, if you can observe the names of the paper 1 and paper 2, that official names of the paper 1 and paper 2, the paper 1 is called as the fundamentals of sociology, while the paper 2, its official name is Indian society. And that's how I have again created agenda for today's discussion or this session discussion as the syllabus discussion. That agenda is a 3-point agenda where we will first of all discuss the syllabus of paper 1 individually, then paper 2 individually, and this is going to be the most important part of this session. That is the last 1/3 part of this session, that is regarding the customized integrated syllabus, how and what chapters we are going to integrate, in what manner, what even sub points, sub bits of the chapters we are going to integrate with the paper 1 and paper 2, and likewise ha sagat important that is going to fetch you the marks, of course. This is the abhutpurva part of the session, and I request you all, first of all, you must be thorough with the individual syllabus, then you can understand the coding or the exact idea of this customized integrated syllabus. Right? Let's start with our discussion with the syllabus of paper 1 first of all. Okay? The paper 1 is officially known as Fundamentals of Sociology. If you can observe, and I request you all, please keep a syllabus copy with you first of all. If you can observe the syllabus of the paper 1, you will get to know we are going to study many aspects of society, starting with the chapter first as the sociology as a discipline, what sociology is, to chapter 10 is regarding social change, right? What is society to social change? We are going to learn many such social institutions from religion, politics, family, kinship, marriage, economics, right? Stratification, and many other areas in sociology at a global level. That syllabus, that scope is of, you can say, the paper 1 of sociology optional. The paper 1 of sociology optional starts with the first chapter called as Sociology, the Discipline. Chapter 1, Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 are going to be the basic foundational chapters of sociology, in which we are going to have a broader dimension or broader clarity about sociology as discipline, what is sociology, how sociology studies society, what are its research methods, and such concepts like this we are going to cover in first 3 chapters. This is going to be the first group of our customized syllabus. We'll discuss that in the last 1/3 phase of the session, but the first 3 chapters are going to be among the most important chapters of the sociology, both in paper 1 and paper 2. The chapter 1 of sociology, paper 1, is the discipline. Sociology, the discipline. Here we are going to have the idea about what sociology is, how sociology emerged, what sociology actually studies, and how it is different principally from the other social sciences like political science, economics, anthro, and many other. The chapter 1 in sociology is, you can say, divided into 3 subparts of A, B, and C. A is regarding modernity and social changes in Europe that led to the emergence of sociology. B is about the scope of the sociology and its comparison with the other social sciences like political science, history, and many other. And third is the distinction and relationship between the common sense and sociology. We'll briefly discuss the idea of chapter 1 first of all. Sociology, what is actually sociology? Sociology is a discipline in social sciences which studies society, social institutions, social relations, social organizations, social institutions, right? This is actually a simplistic, brief layman idea. Detailed technical idea of sociology as a discipline we are going to study in our course, right? The A topic is about the emergence of sociology. What factors were responsible for emergence of sociology as a separate discipline in social sciences? Once we study the A subtopic, we'll get to know how the different events like Renaissance, Enlightenment, Commercial Revolution, Scientific Revolution, along with Industrial and French Revolution was responsible, or all these events were responsible for the emergence of sociology as a separate discipline. It emerged to study the social changes those were going on in the European society at that time. Sociology emerged as a separate discipline in social science to study all the social changes and the social crises which were again going on through those phases, through those ages in the society. Because all the other social sciences like political science, economics, and many other social sciences were inadequate, insufficient to study all the social changes in its entirety comprehensively. And that's how the need was felt. We need a separate, distinct scientific discipline to study society and social changes and social crisis as well. Social crisis like you can say slums, urbanization, you can say dowry or suicide, alienation, marital breakdowns, divorce. All these social problems were new to the society, right? And those were not studied ever before. And that's how sociology as a separate discipline took its responsibility to study all the social changes in very systematic and scientific manner. And in the B part, we are going to study what is the subject matter of sociology. What is the subject matter of sociology and how it is much wider than the other natural sciences. What is the scope of the subject matter? You will get to know how it studies individual also, at the same time the global events also. What do I mean? The global events, like just recently we are witnessing in the Russia-Ukraine war, sociology is capable to study even that war also, sociologically. At the same time, sociology can study even the mind of Putin, Zelensky. Individuals, societies, institutions, global phenomena, or the social phenomena at national, regional, any level can be studied with sociology, and that's how sociology is the most dynamic and the sophisticated of all the social sciences, and that's how it makes me personally passionate about sociology as a discipline because of its wider scope. And in the C part, we are going to discuss about how sociology is principally distinct from common sense, but it relies on common sense for its sociological knowledge. Common sense is actually the body of knowledge of any layman person, right? Any observation by the layman person which has not a scientific basis, which is based on prejudices, even biases, naturalistic observation, not scientific observation. But many times the common sense helps to sociology in developing the sociological understanding of social phenomena. We are going to study that. And to conclude, in briefly, we can say that the chapter 1 is specially dedicated towards sociology as a discipline, what sociology is, how it emerged, what is the scope and subject matter of sociology, and how it is distinct from the other social sciences. Right? And naturally, the second chapter is aligned on this line, what sociology studies, right? Or how sociology studies, you can say, its subject matter, like society, social institutions. The chapter 2 is divided into 5 subparts, starting with the science-scientific methods and ending with the non-positivist methodologies. It is the most important foundational chapter, or I can say the most important of all the course, including paper 1 and paper 2. Many you can say can differ. Many say that the chapter 4, that is sociological thinkers, is the most important part of the sociology syllabus, including paper 1 and paper 2. But according to me, if you want to truly understand the chapter 4, that is sociological thinkers, you must be thorough with the chapter 2. Chapter 2 starts with the idea that, or the argument that, sociology, while it was emerging, that period, that 17th and 18th century, was very much impacted or influenced by the natural sciences. Industrial revolution was going on, French revolution was going on, natural sciences like physics, chemistry, biology were making huge progress. Those natural sciences were impacting the each and every aspect of human life. E is equal to mc square, F is equal to ma, gravitational force, and all these ideas were very new, scientifically proven. Those were changing the very conception of human to look towards society, any natural phenomena that was giving a scientific nature to human. And that's how all the aspects of human life now started organizing on the scientific lines. And the founding fathers of sociology sought to, sought to organize the new branch of society, that is sociology, on very scientific lines. And that's how the emergence of sociology started on a scientific line. But first of all, we must discuss about what science is. What are scientific methods, scientific techniques, right? And what are its advantages? What are its disadvantages? What is the natural science? What are their subject matters? How they study their subject matters? Like, for example, how physics studies Earth, revolution of Earth around Sun and all. Can these techniques be used in sociology? In the A part, we are going to study science, scientific method and its critic. We are going to study natural sciences and their techniques of study. At the same time, we are also going to involve ourselves into one debate that is called as, is sociology a science? Can sociology be organized on the principles of natural science? Can natural science principles and laws be applied while studying society? That is the most interesting part. You will enjoy that. Mind my words. And that's how, on those lines, based on those ideas of science and natural sciences, one important sociological branch that is called as positivism developed. That is one of the theoretical strands in sociology. By the way, theoretical strands in sociology means the perspectives through which sociology studies the society. Like feminism, Marxism, positivism, non-positivism, structural functionalism even, right? All these are the perspectives through which society, sociologist, social researcher, or the sociology as a discipline looks towards these social phenomena. But all these perspectives or theoretical strands were not present from the day one itself. They got evolved, they started evolving in the period of time, right? What was the reason for their evolution? We'll discuss that first of all. Starting with positivism. The positivism is such branch or perspective or theoretical strands in sociology which uses or adopts the natural sciences principles to study the social phenomena. For example, the social phenomena like suicide. If the sociology or the positivism wants to study suicide as a social phenomena, it will adopt the techniques of the natural sciences. It will study it based on the facts, objectivity, data, experimentation, validity, reliability, and all those concepts. Just like Emil Durkheim did. Emil Durkheim, one of the important sociological thinker that we are going to study in chapter 4. Emil Durkheim studied suicide as a social fact. Suicide as a scientific phenomenon, or a social fact, like a fact of the social phenomena which can be studied with the help of the principles of natural sciences. He went to different police stations, he collected data, he started with hypothesis, he experimented that, he proved that. But my important question is that, can we study such a sophisticated, such a delicate social phenomena only based on the principles of natural sciences? Or it will be more comprehensively, or it will be more justiciable to study this fact like suicide in, you can say, individualistic fashion. We must go to the home of victim. We must talk with the friends, family members, colleagues even, or the other members to the periphery, why he committed suicide, why she committed suicide. Was he going through depression, frustration, right? We must interpret, we must understand his psychological, emotional being, and that's how we can study the point like suicide, right? And that's how the positivism as a theoretical strands in sociology were found inadequate, and that's how in the critic part we will argue that the positivism was, of course, it organized sociology on very scientific lines, but it was inadequate. Rather, the positivism as a separate discipline in sociology actually diverted sociology from its goal. What was the goal of sociology? It was to study society. It was to study social institution. It was to study social phenomena. But rather than studying that, we started imitating the techniques. We started imitating the laws of the natural sciences. And that's how we started moving away from, we started diverting from our goal, that main goal. We were running behind the natural sciences principles and all, just to brand our discipline as a science. Okay. And that's how the inadequacies of positivism started showing up, and the new branches in sociology started emerging, like non-positivistic techniques, which gave focus on the meanings, motives, values of the individual social action. If you want to truly study social actions or the social phenomena, you must go into the details of that social action. That was the basic argument which non-positivism put forth, and that's how together positivism and non-positivism broaden the horizons of sociological study, gave the in-depth meaning of the sociological phenomena, and that's how sociology again shown what you can say, its maturity. It started evolving. And that's how the chapter 2, in conclusion, we can say that chapter 2 is regarding the basic argument, is sociology a science, or can sociology be called as a science? Very interesting chapter, right? Mind my words, this is the foundational of the foundation chapter, that is the chapter 2. Okay. So if you are thorough with chapter 2, you will enjoy chapter 4 of sociological thinkers. The chapter 3 is the another natural question in sequence, that is then if you are thorough with how chapter 1, that is what is sociology, what are its perspective, right? Third natural question is how the sociology conducts its social research. What are the research methods? How sociology is organized scientifically based on the research methods, right? And that's how, what are different data collection techniques, what are quantitative, qualitative methods, how the quantitative and qualitative methods are different from each other. What is micro and micro aspects of the sociology? We are going to study that. We are going to study, or we will get to know in this chapter 3, as the individuals, at the same time the macro phenomena in society are both important, but they must be studied with different techniques. If you want to study an individual as a social action or a social actor, you must apply the qualitative methods to study an individual or a closed group. If you want to study macro aspects of society, that is dowry or you can say marital breakdowns or divorce-like situations, you must study that with the quantitative methods, more scientific positivistic methods. Then depending on your the choice of your qualitative or quantitative, the techniques of data collection will vary, right? How to collect that data in sense the social data, the data that is responsible, that is important for your social research. That can be again qualitative, quantitative. We collect data with the help of interviews, surveys, case studies, questionnaire, and many other such. We are going to learn in that this sub part, that is the techniques of data collection. And the third is about variable sampling hypothesis. As you know, sociology started its journey on very scientific lines. You can say it as an imitation or any other, you can say, idea. But sociology was organized on scientific lines from day first. And that means the hypothesis or generalization is the core aspect of sociology. And as just like natural sciences, sociology is a Janma Siddha to solve the problems, right? To study the social problems or to study the social crisis was the main factor behind the emergence of sociology. And that's how sociology must conclude with something. Sociology must generalize. Sociology must, you can say, give idea about the problems and its solutions, possible solutions. And that's how variable sampling, hypothesis, and all these aspects are about the scientific nature of research methodology. And to sum up the chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, all the chapter 1, 2, and 3 will become the first group of our customized syllabus, customized integrated syllabus that we call as Abhutpurva, right? And these 3 chapters together will give integratively, okay? We won't separate this chapter 1, 2, 3, artificial separation na karta. We won't make it a watered compartment. We will just mingle around them, right? We will exchange the ideas between chapter 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2 and all, right? And chapter 1, 2 and 3 will give you a important foundation, important conceptual understanding of the sociology as a discipline, complete discipline by the way, paper 1 and paper 2 together. Okay? Now, after the chapter 1, 2 and 3, important foundational chapter and the most interesting of all the chapters is the chapter 4. The chapter 4 of paper 1 is regarding sociological thinkers. First of all, what do you mean by sociological thinkers? Sociology is a discipline, a scientific discipline, and in chapter 1 you will get to know it is the most sophisticated and the latest of the social sciences. It was contributed by the ideas, thoughts, thinkings, studies of many sociological thinkers. Sociological thinkers just like Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, Malinowski and many others. Right? Even today, sociology as a discipline is contributed by many contemporary sociologists. But UPSC has given us, you can say, a comprehensive, or you can say a list of the sociological thinkers that we need to study for our mains examination. Sociology has given a list of six such thinkers to study, right? To start with Karl Marx, secondly Emile Durkheim, thirdly Max Weber, Talcott Parson, R.K. Milton and Mead are those 6 sociological thinkers which are again listed in our syllabus. But this does not mean they are the most important of the sociological thinkers. There are another important sociological thinkers like Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, Malinowski, and many such sociological thinkers are at contemporary level. Those need to be studied. And that's how in the customized part we will discuss how we are going to study even the other sociological thinkers also beyond this syllabus. Okay, that is the Abhutpurva part, right? We are going to study Auguste Comte, or we are going to have a separate chapter that is called as the founding fathers of sociology as a separate chapter beyond this syllabus of beyond this official UPSC syllabus as the foundational sociological thinkers that will cover the you can say the important sociological thinkers like Comte and all. But we must first discuss about the official syllabus in paper 1. The Karl Marx, Emile Durkheim, Max Weber, Talcott Parson, R.K. Milton and Mead are the 6 official thinkers. Those we are going to study in paper 1. And we are going to apply the concepts and ideas of these sociological thinkers in across all the topics, including paper 1 and paper 2. And once you're thorough, once you're clear with the 6 thinkers, it is said that around 60 to 70% of your load is over. 60 to 70% of your syllabus is actually covered. Because take any chapter like take religion, that is chapter 8 of paper 1, take 7th chapter that is politics, or take you can say 8th chapter that is religion. All these thinkers we are going to apply in those chapters. Okay, to start with the discussion, we will first start with the syllabus that is given in our syllabus copy with Marx. Karl Marx is first sociological thinker. The code for Karl Marx will be paper 1 by 4 by A. Okay, like for Calcott Parson, it will be paper 1 by 4 by D. Let's discuss the syllabus that is given in the Marx or the Karl Marx, right? Historical materialism, mode of production, alienation, and class struggle. If you can observe the sequence of the syllabus, sequence of the sociological thinkers, it is Marx, Durkheim, Weber. But any systematic study will study firstly Emil Durkheim and then Karl Marx. Okay, that is again innovation in our syllabus, that is called as Abhutpurva, that I will reveal in the last phase, right? While we are studying, or I would recommend you also, you must first study Emil Durkheim and then Karl Marx, because Karl Marx is critic to functionalism. It is conflict perspective, right? We'll discuss what is functionalism and conflict perspective in chapter 2. Atta, it is not the time to discuss all these concepts, right? Let's discuss what is given in Karl Marx. Historical materialism, mode of production, alienation, and class struggle. And as you know, Marx, which is the most famous of any ideology, that is Marxism, especially after 2008 economic crisis, the most or the highest selling literature was Das Kapital, the book written by Karl Marx. Marx has relevance or not, or Marx is not relevant. I debates apart, we discuss that even while we are thorough with Karl Marx. But what are the ideas given by Marx? Marx said that the society is founded on materialistic basis, economic foundation of society. And as the material or the economic foundation of the society changes, or the faith of society changes. Or all the happenings, those are happening in the society, have a material and economic foundation, material and economic causes. As the technology changes, what Marx called the technology as the factors of production, as the technology and raw material changes, relations change, and as relations and factors of production change, the mode of production change. A mode of production is any stage in the society. According to Marx, the society has evolved in different stages. Society has evolved in different stages. If it is today capitalist society, it was not in its past. It has evolved from primitive communism to slave society to feudal society to capitalist, and once the capitalist society will crumble down, it will get transformed into socialist, and in the last phase communism will come, where the equality of all will be ensured. Equality of ownership or the common ownership will be ensured. And that's how Marx gave a visionary aspect of society, one important plan to change society, at the same time the idea about evolution of society. That concept is called as historical materialism. What do you mean by historical materialism? Society historically has evolved in phased manner. And what is materialism? The society has the foundation that is called as materialistic foundation, economic foundation, right? We are going to study all those different stages given by Marx itself, including the capitalist, the phase of capitalism, right? And that individual phases in the society are called as modes of production. That is the second part. According to Marx, the capitalism is the most exploitative mode of production, where the haves and the have-nots are the two different classes, and the haves, that is the capitalist class or the bourgeois class, will exploit the labor class, what Marx called them as proletariat class, in its entirety. They will be given with low wages, they will work for long hours, they will be exploited physically, mentally, and that situation through which the workers go is called as alienation. The workers will lose their control over their product. They will separate from society, they will be separated from individual even, that is called as alienation. And once the alienation will reach it at its peak, the labor class will get to know of their conditions. They will get to know of their class consciousness. And that's how they will unite. They will fight for their rights. They will fight for justice and equality in the form of revolution, in the form of class struggle. And that's how through the class struggle, revolution will happen and capitalism will crumble down, and the society will transform its phase into the next phase, that is called as socialism and communism. Very, very interesting ideas, very mind-opening ideas Marx has given in his literature, in his studies, that we are going to study in Marx. Okay. Then we have to discuss about Emile Durkheim as the next sociological thinker. Emile Durkheim is basically a functionalist, a positivist. Emile Durkheim adopted, as a positivist, he adopted the natural sciences principles to study the social phenomena, including religion, including suicide, and many other. And he is functionalist. Like contrary to Marx, he's functionalist. What does it mean? He looks towards society in very, we can say, positive way. Each and every organ in society has some contributory role to play in society. If religion as a social institution exists, it must play one important contributory role towards maintenance, order, functioning of society, well-being of society. Right? And that's how the ideas of division of labor and religion on society are his ideas based on functionalist perspective. According to Emile Durkheim, the society has evolved from primitive stage to modern society, and the glue or the binding or the bond that keeps the modern industrial society intact or together is nothing but division of labor. Interesting, right? Because of division of labor, we are becoming dependent on each other. As the society's population is increasing, the division of labor or the specialization is increasing. And because of specialization, we are becoming more and more dependent on each other. The interdependence is increasing, and the interdependence is nothing but the bond, the invisible bond that is keeping the modern industrial society intact, organized, in order, maintained, functioning. That idea is the division of labor. Social fact is the Emile Durkheim's scientific tool to study society. That is very technical concept. This is not actually the time to discuss that social fact, but social fact is one scientific tool which, according to Emile Durkheim, each and every social researcher must treat any social phenomena as a scientific object and study that scientific object or the social phenomena in scientific manner. That is social fact. Suicide. Right? We have already discussed. Emile Durkheim conducted scientific research, scientific study of this suicide, and he concluded simplistically the social structure or social organization is responsible for the suicides and its types. We'll discuss that in detail, interestingly, in Emile Durkheim's concept. Then religion and society, he gave the functional aspect of religion. His ideas on religion are very famous in sociology, where we can say that the religion is nothing but the worship of society. Why we can say, according to Emile Durkheim, what is religion? It is nothing but the worship of society, right? You can imagine in Diwali or Muharram or many other religions of different, you can say, many other festivals of religions, the society comes together. They celebrate together, right? And that's how society keeps itself binding in form, together in nature. Right? We perform dances, we perform rituals, we perform many other, you can say, rituals and all. And that's how it is nothing but we are worshipping society, and society is keeping itself intact through religion. That the very interesting ideas there, right? Then Max Weber is another sociological thinker which actually changed the sociological perspective, which actually gave sociology its maturity. Because while sociology was emerging, it was on the lines of positivism. It was imitating the techniques used by the natural sciences. It was imitating the scientific techniques. And that's how there was need to go somewhat away from this imitation, this copying of the techniques. If you truly wanted to study the sociological phenomena, the social actions in individuals, you must interpret the meanings and motives behind those actions. And that was the idea given by Max Weber in its term called as Verstian. V-E-R-S-T-I-N. Verstian is nothing but the idea or you can say technique given by Weber, which is called as empathetic understanding in its dictionary meaning. empathetic understanding of social action. Rather than applying the macro conception, you must go at micro level. That was the important idea given by Max Weber. At the same time, ideal type is his own research tool with which an social action can be studied. That is again technical term, just like social fact. We will discuss that in our course when we are studying Max Weber. And authority and bureaucracy are his studies on very technical lines, very systematic manner. According to him, authority and bureaucracy are those tools which keep the industrial modern society intact, functioning. Interestingly, this Max Weber has again cautioned the modern society as we will enter into the iron age of rationality. We are becoming more robotic. We are becoming more mechanical in our behavior, in our thinking, in our organization, in our functioning. And that's how it is very detrimental towards the idea of nothing but naturalistic idea, right? We are behaving against nature. We are binding ourselves into iron cage of rationality. Very interesting idea. We will discuss that even in our courses. Then the last and most important idea is regarding the Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism. According to Max Weber, generally all the aspects of human life are impacted by the ideas of religion, and economic aspects also. One of those aspects is economics. You can study, or you can observe, or you can just think on that. Many of the decisions in your family also are based on the religious ideas. We go for muhurt like concept, right? If you want to purchase any property, if you want to conclude any deal, and many other things, those are in economic nature. We many times go for the consultation of Jyotish. We go for consultation of auspicious date, that is called as Muhurta. And that was the fact, that was the idea given by Max Weber in his Protestant Ethics. According to him, the capitalism, the very scientific, capitalism is nothing but it is opposite to religion. But in this idea, in this concept, he will establish the fact that, Max Weber will establish the fact that religion and religious ideas in one of the religion, that is the Protestantism, was responsible for development of capitalism, actually. Very, very interesting. How religion was dependent, or how religion was responsible for development of capitalism in one of that religion, that is Protestantism, is established, or which is proved by Max Weber. Against why capitalism was not developed among Hindus or Chinese, that is also proved by, you can say, Max Weber. And according to Max Weber, the ideas in Hinduism are anti-capitalist, right? We don't focus on phal, we focus more on karma, right? Karm kar, phal ki chinta mat kar. All these values are responsible for development of non-capitalistic forces. Rather than capitalism focuses on phal, right? Capitalism focuses on fruits. Capitalism focuses on efforts, time. We focus, or Hinduism focus on duties. Okay, and that's how the value conception is different, and capitalism is nothing but a product of religious values. Max Weber interestingly proves that, right? Next thinker is Talcott Parson, the most, you can say, sophisticated of all the sociological thinkers. He is a structural functionalist thinker. He will organize his ideas based on one important concept called as value consensus. According to Talcott Parson, because of value consensus, the society lives, society integrates, society continues. And value consensus is nothing but the values those are accepted by all. He will give the ideas called as social system, cultural system, personality system, which are too technical in its nature. At the same time, one important concept like pattern variables. Pattern variables is about the dilemmas or the choices any individual faces while he is taking decisions. Talcott Parson is one of the sophisticated technical sociological thinker that we are going to study in our course. Beyond that, the last sociological thinkers, second last, is R.K. Milton, one of the most interesting again. Interesting. Okay, he has given with the idea that is called as functional analysis. If any sociology, by the way, what is sociology actually? What is the prime goal, or what is the most interesting thing about sociology according to you? What I have found that sociology gives you that perspective that is not visible with any social phenomena. Sociology gives you that dimension to study, that dimension to view towards any sociological phenomena or any social phenomena that is not visible in science. Have you ever imagined education can be used by the government to perpetuate its ideas or to stop the social change? Have you ever thought about that, right? Sociology studies social phenomena in very different angle, in very different idea, which is not visible per se. Okay, that is called as the functional analysis. What Mark called it as latent and manifest function. Each and every social phenomena has some positive role to play, at the same time some non-positive or detrimental role to play towards society. And because of that concept, latent and manifest functions, he is regarded as one of the most interesting, one of the most, you can say, comprehensive sociological thinkers of our branch. Beyond functional analysis or latent and manifest functions, conformity and deviance gave again one of the gave Archimedes the zenith. According to Archimedes, deviance is nothing but the deviance from or the deviation from the normal path that is fixed or the given by society. But there are 5 different types of deviances given by, you can say, Archimedes. That is again most interesting part of his study. We will going to study that in conformity and deviance. You know, what are the social factors? Those are responsible for deviance. Why people commit crimes? Why people deviate from the social norms and values? Right? What is conformity? We are going to study that in our, and we will conclude that with this part ki social structures are responsible, or the social actors or who we regard as criminals or the you can say accused are nothing but the victims of social structures. Those are converted into the criminals by society itself. With the help of reference group, we will again establish the fact that society is nothing but a reference of each other. We imitate to some groups, we aspire to become member of another group, and that's how reference group, just like the fashion today, right? What we are wearing today, what we are consuming today is influenced by our reference group, mostly from the Bollywood, some from government services. What we wear, how we think, what we talk, how we talk, our body language are mostly influenced by our, you can say, role models. That role model concept we are going to study in reference groups, right? Now, Archimedes is going to be the most interesting, mind my words. It is going to open up your mind. Okay. Then G.H. Mead is one of the non-positivist sociological thinker from Chicago School, which emphasized on studying society or sociology in very micro aspects, in minute details, at individual level, in non-positivistic manner. And you will get to know self and identity, right? What is the distinction between me and I? Of course, this is not the right place to study or discuss, because it will take more time, at least half an hour. But he has again separated me from I. Very interesting, right? Sociologically, what he says is sociology, I is individual perspective and me is this society I, right? And that's how he divided me from I, which has social impact on one scale and individual impact on another scale. That interesting concept we are going to study in this idea given by self and identity, self and yes, of course, given by Mead. And these were the 6 sociological thinkers in our syllabus, starting with Marx, or we will start with Durkheim, then Marx, Weber. Merton, Parsons, right? Parsons, Merton, and then G.H. Merton. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 will give you the most foundational aspects or the most foundational clarity that is required to study sociology as a separate discipline, as a scientific discipline. Once you are thorough with all these 4 chapters, your 70 to 80% of the work is done. Yes, of course, of both the papers. We are going to study sociological thinkers according to their relevance. And the most debated of all of them is Marx. Most interesting also, right? And once we finish the chapter 4, we will enter into our next topic, that is chapter 5. And once we finish with the chapter 4 or chapter 1, 2, 3 and 4, we are going to enter into the another most interesting, conceptually very satisfying topic, that is chapter 5, that is called as the stratification. Mind my words, this chapter 5 is going to have the widest ever application in chapter or in the paper 2, including caste, tribals, everything. The ideas will be exchanged in paper 2 on very wider scale. The chapter 5 is called as stratification and mobility. First of all, what is stratification? Stratification is nothing but organizing the society in terms of stratas. The stratas which are, you can say, one another over, right? Stratas which are in a layer format. Society is organized in the form of layers or stratas based on different criteria, parameters. Just like we have in India caste system, where the society is organized into 4 layers broadly, right? That is Brahmin, Shudra, Vaishya and all, right? And Kshatriya. All these 4 stratas are nothing but 4 layers in society. That is called as stratification. What is meant by stratification? It is the process in which the society is organized in the forms of layers based on different criteria. Caste, class, race, ethnicity, age. Okay, and that's how. And if any member or any group moves across that stratus, it is called as mobility. Okay, and the chapter 5 is divided into 4 main prospects. The A is about the basic concepts. Very important but basic concepts. We are going to study them sociologically. We are going to study equality, inequality, hierarchy, exclusion, poverty and deprivation. All these concepts you will now currently understand in a very similar fashion manner. You will ask me what is the exact difference between hierarchy, or you can say exclusion and deprivation. But mind my words, there is a great difference between all these concepts. As you are new to sociology, as you are in a very nascent stage of your preparation, all these concepts might look similar to you, but they have their distinct meanings. We are going to study them in A section. In B subtopic, we are going to study the theories of social stratification. What do you mean by theories of social stratification? We are going to study how sociology technically studies the concept of social stratification. How functionalism will look towards stratification. How Marxism will look towards stratification. How feminism will look towards stratification. Getting my idea? Broadly, how functionalism and conflict perspective will look towards stratification, as they are the 2 important theoretical strands in sociology, as we have discussed in chapter 2 of paper 1. The theories means what are different ideas regarding. Some will say the social stratification is functional, that is important towards society. गांधीजी यांनी पण आयडिया दिली होती की कास्ट सिस्टम हे सोसायटीला हेल्दी ठेवतं. कास्ट सिस्टम म्हणजे वर्णाच्या काळ असेल, म्हणजे एक्सप्लॉयटेशन नसलेली. कारण कास्ट सिस्टम इज अबाउट ड्युटीज, राईट? कास्ट सिस्टम इज अबाउट रोल्स. Each community will perform different roles which will coordinate, which will help to other castes, other members, other communities. And that's how the stratification based on either age, or you can say gender, or you can say race, caste, that is functional to society, or that plays very positive role to society, will be given by, the idea will be given by functionalist. Whereas the complete perspective will say that the stratification is very detrimental concept, is very derogatory concept, which is very, you can say, inhuman concept, which divides society in the form of stratas, which gives values like superiority and inferiority. Just we can observe in the caste system in India, where the lower castes, the members of lower castes are deprived from the basic resources of human life, from food to housing. Those theories we will study, those different sociological perspectives towards stratification we will study in B section. C is about dimensions of social stratification, on what dimensions or parameters the stratification as the concept is segregated, organized, whether it is based on race, ethnicity, gender, or status, or class. Beyond that, caste and all we are going to study in paper 2. And D is about social mobility. What is meant by social mobility? What are the factors of social mobility? What is a system called as closed and open? If a society is closed society, that means their mobility is not that much possible, or almost, you can say, restricted mobility. One member with its, you can say, change in the economic situation or change in, you can say, financial situation can get mobility in class society. But in caste societies, you cannot move across the stratas. You cannot become Brahmin or upper caste group with any reason. Once you get your birth in one particular caste, you remain in that caste. That is a closed system. But in open systems, with the improvement in your status, improvement in your financial situations, education, and many other criteria, you can move from one strata or one layer to another. That is open. What are the factors, what are the sources of mobility and all. And that's how stratification is one of the important core area of the sociology, where we understand, we study the social structures. How society is organized. How society is organized based on stratification. What are the criteria of stratification? What are the sociological ideas for stratification? How the society, you can say, can perform the social mobility, what factors are responsible for mobility and all these ideas. As in summation, I can say that these ideas we are going to study in chapter 5. Chapter 6 is called as works and economic life. Again, one of the smallest but interesting topic. Here we are going to study how the society is economically organized based on the work, how the work is organized in slave society, in feudal industrial capitalist society, and what are the factors of production, modes of production, work organization in different types of society. We are going to compare those. At the same time, what is meant by formal, what is meant by informal, what are the factors for informal economy, what are the factors for formal economy, and likewise, which has much importance and relevance in GS3, that is economics, right? And lastly, we are going to discuss about labor and society. And most interestingly, in this C topic, we are going to study one interesting phenomena that is called as human relations school, given by Elton Mayo. According to Elton Mayo, the labor productivity is much more dependent on the interests, purposes, and work satisfaction. If the worker is not satisfied at his work, is not satisfied with the job profile, he will be the least productive among the others. And that's how what are the ideas for maintaining satisfaction? We are going to learn in that C topic. That is one of the important and dynamic concept in paper 1, that is work and economic life, especially the concept like Fordism, Taylorism, how the Ford company organizes its assembly lines, what are the advantages of those assembly lines, or that Fordism concept, disadvantages of Fordism, how the work can be better organized, how we can maintain the labor productivity at its optimum level, and all those ideas we are going to study in chapter 6. Chapter 7 is regarding the politics and society, one of the lengthiest of the chapters of the entire paper 1, where we will understand the politics or the political life as one of the aspects of social life. Politics as an integral part of society. Political institutions as an integral part of social institutions or one of the social institutions. And that's how, as the scope of sociology is wide, as the scope of sociology is to cover all these aspects, politics becomes, or the political institutions and political relations become important area to study with the help of sociology. That exactly we are doing in chapter 7. Sociological theories of power. First of all, we'll discuss what is meant by power. Power, right? And how sociology look towards power. How sociology, through different sociologists like Max Weber, Mills, Taylor and Fox, Tiger and Fox, and many other sociologists, how we study or how we understand power sociologically, not politically, sociologically. Interesting topic, right? B, what is power? Elite, bureaucracy, pressure group, political parties, somewhat like GS touch. B topic, it has GS touch, right? C is about nation, state, citizenship, democracy, civil society, ideology. 6-7 concepts in one single concept, and that gives the chapter 7 as the you can say a length of understanding, right? The nation, state, citizenship, democracy, we are going to study these political concepts in sociological manner. At the same time, protests, agitation, movements, collective actions and revolutions, all these political ideas, political phenomena, we are going to study in sociological manner. Once you are finished with this chapter 7, interestingly, your mind will open up and you will be more able to understand the contemporary political events, just like the anti-nationalism or the anti-nationals, nationals who are called as national, who are called anti-national, what is democracy, citizenship and everything, NRC-like issue, CA-like issue, in very comprehensive manner. Because what we cannot see with visible eyes, sociology is able to understand that even. And chapter 4 is important for understanding the political aspects of society. Okay? Just like that, sociology also treats religion as one of the important institutions of society. As you know, the social life, it earlier used to have religion at its core. Today, the role of religion being at the core of society is debatable, fine. But from historical times, all the aspects of society were organized, directed, dictated by the religious institutions, religious values, religious norms. And that's how on social life, religion has the most profound impact. That's how we must study religion. Religion is studied by various sociological thinkers, including Emil Durkheim, Max Weber, Karl Marx even, interestingly. And as you know, according to Karl Marx, religion is the opium of masses. That interesting idea we are going to study in this chapter, why Marx termed religion as opium of masses. Malinowski and all many other sociological thinkers gave their very important perspectives. Tyler, right? Important perspectives on religion. That is in the you can say inclusion, or that is the content of chapter 1. Then chapter 8, sorry. Then A section is about sociological theories, in which we are going to study the evolutionary theories, right? The modern theories, how religion evolved according to sociology. What is religion according to sociology? In B part, we are going to study various religious practices like animism, monism, pluralism, sects and cults. These are different organizations and practices, or you can say ideas through which the religion can be practiced. This is the part B, and C is something dynamic about the religion concept, or the contemporary religion we are going to study in C part, that is religion in modern society. That is the relation between religion and science. Are they really contradictory? Are they really opposite to each other? No, actually, right? We are going to establish the fact that religion is actually a body of knowledge, just like science. Sometimes religion act as very important idea or an answer, even religion as an answer that science cannot or science is incapable of. Can science give the answers about the questions like what is death, what is birth, what is afterlife? Science cannot give answers on these questions, but religion can. And that's how science and religion are separate bodies of knowledge, but they are complementary to each other. Interestingly, we are going to study that concept, that is the relationship between science and religion in chapter 8, right? C part. Then what is secularization and how secularization is different from secularism. Secularism is nothing but you can say treating all the religions equally, respecting all religions, but secularization is the process by which religion diminishes its impact on social life. Religion starts minimizing, or the impact of religion start getting deteriorated from the human lives. The impact of religion on all the aspects of religion slowly and slowly, gradually start diminishing. That is secularization. Like marriage institution, earlier the marriage institution was 100% dominated by the religious ideas, but today we can go for you can say civil marriages like court marriages and all, where religion has no role to play. That is one of the symbol or symptom of secularization. Interesting fact, right? Upon technically we are going to study that. Then religious revivalism and fundamentalism are such ideas those we are facing in today's times. We are going to study even that, religious revivalism and fundamentalism, as the more science, or you can say religion in modern societies. Okay, and that's how to sum up, chapter 8 is about religion as an important social institution that we must study as a social phenomena, social institution, and how it impacts the human life and social life. Okay. Chapter 9, again, one of the most important institutions like kinship, family and marriage, we are going to study sociologically. To start with, we'll discuss about what is family, as the family is the most foundational social institution of society. Marriage as the most foundational institution of society. Right? And that's how the family, marriage, household are one of the core and the most basic institutions of society that we must study. What are its roles? What are its dysfunctions, positive roles, negative roles? How sociology studies them? What are the different sociological perspectives on family? Does family always play positive role, or sometimes it perpetuates the negative values also, like dowry, patriarchy, domestic violence? Yeah? We are going to study that sociologically. One of the interesting topic again in chapter 1, family, household, marriage, types and forms of family. What is lineage and descent, and all these concepts. Then patriarchy and sexual division of labor. This is one of the most interesting and dynamic topic in chapter 9. How the patriarchy is influencing the division of labor. How the patriarchy is actually resulting into gender division of your work. What is glass ceiling? What is double shift? And how women are becoming the victim of both patriarchy and capitalism, and patriarchy and division of labor because of their gender. At the same time, contemporary trends in marriage, family and all, we are going to understand that. Contemporary trends, like we are observing love marriages. What are the factors responsible for them? Same-sex marriages, LGBTQ marriages, single-parent families, arranged love marriage, innovative ideas, new ideas, live-in relationships. We are all going to study them in chapter 9. And in brief, this is about studying the institutions of family, marriage, kinship, household and all in sociological manner. And that's how religion, politics, economics and all these institutions become the institutions of society. And that's how chapter 6, 7, 8 and 9 are organized on institutional fashion. Whereas chapter 5 is structural part of society. That is, stratification is about structure. and these 6, 7, 8, 9 is about institutions, right? And after chapter 9, one of the most important chapter that we are going to study is naturally how society change. As earlier the chapter from chapter 1 to chapter 9, the discussion was mainly focused on the social institutions, social relations, what society is, what are social institutions, how sociology looks toward the social institutions, what are the different dimensions of study, what are the different theoretical stands with which we study the social relations and institutions. Basically, the idea from chapter 1 to 9 is what is society and how society persists. But we never discussed about how society changes. That is the subject area, subject matter of chapter 10 in paper 1, that is called as social changes in modern society, which has E, that is the 5 subparts A, B, C, D, E. In first part, we are going to study about this sociological technical understanding of the concept called as social change. What is technically social change? How society changes. Interestingly, you will get to know there are two important ideas or models that define that conceptualize social change. Societies, according to some sociologists, society change in linear fashion. That is from one stage to another. Just like Marx talk about in historical materialism. Can you recall it? According to Marx, society changes from one stage to another. But few say that sociology is just like a pendulum. Society is just like a pendulum where society moves from one stage to another and come back to that stage again. That is a cyclical nature of social change. We are going to study that technical nature of these concepts or theoretical stands in this topic A, sociological theories of social change, how sociology studies social change in technical fashion. B is about development and dependency. Too interesting. There was established fact that by the way, do you know about the term called as the third world countries or the global south, global north, right? Why the developed countries are developed and why these developing or underdeveloped countries are underdeveloped? We are going to study that question sociologically. The question is that why the poor countries, underdeveloped countries or least developed countries are least developed? Why they are not developed? Sociologically understanding, these countries are not developed because they are the victims of the ideas called as or the ideologies of colonialism, imperialism, globalization also. A particular group of developed countries manipulated the ideas of development. They exploited these developing countries and that led to the misdevelopment of the poor countries. It led to their economic exploitation. It led to their social exploitation. It led to making them bereft of the political institutions. Just like India, we experienced that in our colonial phase, British Raj. We used to be one of the developed countries before our exploitation in the colonial Raj started. We used to contribute 30% to the global GDP, that reduced to just 3% when the Britishers were leaving our country. That we are going to study what is exactly development and how the developed countries are making the poor countries dependent on their economy, their contributions, their funds. Just like we are observing in Sri Lanka, what is going on in Sri Lanka and how China is making Sri Lanka a victim of its policy called as debt trap policy, and how Sri Lanka is becoming dependent more and more on Chinese policy, Chinese economy, just like we observed in Myanmar and many other countries and many African countries. That idea is we are going to study in development and dependency. Then next natural question is that what are the factors those are responsible for the social change, agents of social change? One of them is education. Another is science. The three concepts are naturally linked. What are the agents of social change? How education is impacting social change? Does By the way, interestingly, we are going to involve ourselves into a debate. Does actually education lead to social change, or social change is an agent of status quo? Not social change, right? Sorry, education as an agent of status quo. We are going to study that in. Why the political regimes, when they come to the government, when the political regime changes, why they first of all start with the changing the syllabus of education system or the schools? Exactly that idea we are going to study in this topic, education and social change, right? And the e-topic is about science, technology and social change. That is a simple topic, how with the help of science and technology, society is changing, but at the same time, certain scientific developments are leading to negative social changes. Just like we are observing in Indian society where the PCPNDT Act, what is PCPNDT Act? It is the act or law that is against the sex determination or the abortion that is sex deterministic. That is against female infanticide, female feticide. That is to stop the social crimes like female infanticide and feticide, right? But you can say that with the help of the technologies like I'm not recalling the name of that machine, a sonography machine, right? With the help of which we can determine the sex of that baby in the womb itself, right? And that's how, if it is a girl child, some social actors go for abortion, and that's how technology is helping to change society in negative manner. We are promoting the practices like female infanticide and feticide with the help of technology. Interesting facts, like, and such facts. Not only this, there are n number of facts, n number of examples, n number of case studies we are going to study where education and science are actually playing a negative role towards social change. And that's how we are going to open up our mind. And that's how the sociology is so much interesting, so much, you can say, interesting in that sense, which makes everybody passionate about that branch once it gets the true test of their discipline. It gives the vision that to look beyond the actual visibility. That is called as, in Merton's words, the latent functions. Okay, that was the chapter 10 in which we are going to study the social change conceptually, sociologically. And this was the end of the paper 1. And in paper 2, we are going to apply the concepts of nothing but the chapter 1 to chapter 10 to understand the social changes, society, social structures and functions. Basically, the paper 1 of sociology is nothing but the foundation of the sociological concepts at a global level, right? How different sociologists at a global level have contributed to the study of society, to the study of sociology. This was the part of paper 1. And now we are going to enter into discussion of the syllabus of the paper 2. And after that, once we finish the discussion with paper 2, we will enter into our very important idea, that is customized syllabus, that is Abhutpurv. Okay.
Nandip Academy, India's top coaching institution for civil services preparation. Join us online to get most enriching experience from best faculty with excellent notes and specially designed courses. To join the batch, download Nandip IS Academy app from Google Play Store. For more information, contact 9511 280 465.